Trees do a lot for Denverites.
This started at about 6 feet tall. And after just, 3 years, this is how large it has gotten. So seeing this from its humble beginnings is so great. I so appreciate, so ingratiating to watch.
From cleaning the air and holding carbon, to cooling you down and making you just feel good.
I kind of consider myself a bit of a tree addict, so it's good for the environment, it's good for the local ecosystem, it's good for the neighborhood and the community. When you plant a tree today, over the course of 10, 20 years, that tree is going to reach great heights and dividends.
After seeing success with his oak tree, Eric Clark says he recently added a row of trees along his fence line and 2 pear trees.
It's such a nice feeling, and just knowing that animals are going to provide homes and create an ecosystem right here in my backyard from what I did over the course of a weekend, right? So it's a great feeling.
This helps his neighborhood have one of the hardiest tree canopies in the city. But not every Denver resident has the same access to this cover. Denver neighborhoods with a history of redlining tend to have fewer trees.
While we do work across the entire city, we work very closely with communities who have been historically disadvantaged with regard to the environment and tree canopy coverage. Some areas it's as low as 4%.
We ran the numbers on 5 years of data, and of the 14,272 trees planted by the city and county of Denver from 2020 to September 2025, we found about 30% went to neighborhoods that need them the most.
So I guess I'm not surprised. I would say, our team is, like I said, diligent in identifying those areas of greatest need, and also that we need those members within those neighborhoods to advocate that they want a tree, right?
Denver can add trees to public land, but can't do it alone on private land. Denver residents can be a smartass and request a free tree, but they need to be ready to care for it.
We're going to be asking those residents to, drag out a hose and water that tree weekly, making sure that it's just establishing and it's growing to its full potential instead of just, throwing it in the ground and forgetting about it and then unfortunately seeing, poor success rates.
It can be hard to plant in low canopy areas, in part because of how much concrete there is. But there is a greater opportunity to plant in some of the underdeveloped neighborhoods. Hundreds of trees have been planted through the BASA program, particularly in low canopy areas like Green Valley Ranch and Central Park. The word is getting out in those neighborhoods.
What we'd love to see is, the word of mouth it's contagious. It spreads like wildfire. When we have a good experience with one resident who has, a positive planting experience, they share with their neighbors.
That is also where the efforts of people like Morgan Wolf come in. She says the Park People organization has planted at least 60,000 trees over 40 years. The group covers some costs, and trees are free if you live in a low canopy neighborhood.
Each year it varies a little bit, but about 60% of the trees that go out go to the focus neighborhoods. So while it is important, even in very well canopied neighborhoods, to be planting that next generation so that they stay nice and shaded, we do make a really big effort to get new trees in the ground in those lower canopy areas.
They help plant new trees and take care of old ones. The key is community connectors paid by the Park People.
So that is someone who lives within the neighborhood, and it goes a really long way toward building goodwill and trust around our organization for them to go out and say, I live here too. Here's why I think a tree would be great in your yard.
Trust is hard to build, especially in areas without historical support.
It can be really daunting, and because a lot of those focus areas have been historically redlined or areas that have faced a lot of disinvestment, there's a lot of issues with trust. And so having someone from the neighborhood who can really speak to why trees are a good idea goes a really long way to just helping us build goodwill and move forward and have a good impact in those communities and continue to show up for them.
Wolf says the Park People want to bring trees to as many people as possible, but funding shortages have made expansion difficult. promised federal dollars that would have expanded their Community Connectors program was granted by the previous administration and frozen under Donald Trump. As Denver adds new trees, they are rushing to help existing trees fight back against the destructive emerald ash borer, just spotted in June. The city forecasts that the invasive beetle will take out 1 in 6 trees if they aren't treated or replaced.
We've been working proactively to plant a diverse range of species to counteract the fact that we are going to lose about 1 in 6 of our trees to the emerald ash borer in the coming years.
There's about 300,000 trees at risk, ash trees exclusively at risk in Denver, that if they're not treated are expected to die. For over 10 years now, we've been treating our ash trees.
One tree enthusiast's advice to other possible tree owners is simple.
And so what advice would you have for folks who are thinking about adding a tree?
Just go for it.
And keep an eye on it.
It's just a huge part of the best person to care for the tree is the person who lives right next to it.
And why is that? Why is the best person the one who lives next to it?
I mean, if you have eyes on that tree, you're going to know if it needs water. If you see a problem, you can intervene before it becomes too severe.
By stepping in, the canopy can expand. For the local Colorado, Zack Newman in Denver.